All right.
Today on the Matt and Ann Show, we welcome two-time Pro Bowler Brad Johnson. Welcome to the show, Brad.
All right, man. Appreciate you guys having me on. Thank y'all.
No problem at all. I want to start off with your college coach, Bobby Bowden, passed away, I think 2 weeks ago. Could you give us some memories of Bobby?
Yeah, Coach Bowden, head coach in 1976. He took over Florida State Seminoles, was head coach for 34 years. When I think of Coach Bowden, I think of class, wisdom, humility, entertaining, funny, innovator, a man that shared his faith with all, and pretty incredible. Lived to his 91 years old, impacted us all. If anyone ever gets a chance to watch the show called Bowden Dynasty, it's pretty incredible. It talks about his whole life, the history of Florida State, the 14-year run at Florida State from 1987 on, where it finished in the top 4 in the country and won a couple of national championships. But it was just impactful to all of our lives, and generational, to be honest with you. And just real quick, I remember, he won 377 games. And in 2013, they named the field at Florida State Bobby Bowden Field. And we had about 400 players show up that day. And we lined the field from the goalpost out to midfield. And him and his wife, Ann, walked all the way out and he threw the spear in the middle of the Seminole head. But we weren't talking about the 377 wins of national championships, but we're talking about how he impacted our lives, how many of us have become coaches or mentors or fathers or business leaders in our communities, and how he impacted our lives, and now how we try to pass it on.
Amazing. I'm a big Cowboy fan, and I got you play a backup for I believe it was Romo.
Tony Romo, yeah.
I was there until be a backup for a guy like Tony Romo.
Yeah, I got to play 2 years in Dallas with Tony Romo. Tony was a great, great player. He's at the beginning of his career. Really enjoyed it. I was backing him up. He was a great, great playmaker. Eventually, he'll be in the Ring of Honor for Dallas Cowboys. And now he's on the national stage as far as doing TV and, on talk shows and stuff. He's great at TV work now, but great friend, and great quarterback.
He's eligible for the Hall of Fame next year. You think he'll get in, or you think he'll have to?
I wouldn't think right away. No. That's not for me to vote. I know he'll definitely be in the Ring of Honor one day at Dallas, but that Hall of Fame thing, you never know how the votes go. But he was an incredible quarterback, and there's such a long list of players trying to get into the Hall of Fame. You don't know who the next 5 are coming, or guys in the past, and how the voting takes place. So I don't know how that'll really go, but he's a tremendous player, and hopefully he gets that honor one day.
You were on the Buccaneers team in 2002 that went on that Super Bowl run, obviously won the Super Bowl. What was that like? And what did you think of the last year with Brady and all them winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we won the Super Bowl in 2003.
Yeah,
that team, we went 12-4. Had John Gruden was the head coach that year, first year of his tenure at Tampa. Came in from Oakland, and he inspired us. He challenged the defense. He made a bunch of moves in free agency. Joe Jurevicius and Kenny McCardell and Ricky Dudley and Ken Dilger and Robin Oben, left tackle, and Kerry Jenkins, left guard, and Michael Pittman, running back. Made a lot of moves, had a tremendous defense. 3 of those guys went on to make Hall of Fame, with Warren Sapp, Derrick Brooks, now John Lynch, and hopefully a couple more with Rondé Barber, Simeon Rice. But we had a lot of great, great players on that team on both sides of the ball. And, we went 3-1 every 4 games, and then we got hot at the right time of the season at the playoffs, and won it all. World champs. It's pretty cool. Very similar this past year. Tampa hadn't won a playoff game in 18 years. And Tom Brady comes to town, and they got a tremendous defense. I think this year they scored 145 points off of turnovers, and then scored 45 points off of the playoffs in the turnovers department. Tom's not a guy that really turned the ball over very much. And first year in his system, very similar to us.
Yeah.
I thought the teams were very similar, to be honest with you. First year in the system, and then both teams got hot at the right time of year. They were 7-5, I think, at one point, just trying to make the playoffs. The Saints won the division, but then Tampa, they went on to win it, beat Washington, New Orleans, Green Bay on the road, and then host the Super Bowl. So it's pretty incredible, great for the organization.
You mentioned, you play with a lot of great players. Do you have a favorite player that you play with?
Yeah, favorite player. My favorite receiver was always the guy that was open. that was my favorite receiver. But played with some great receivers, and Chris Carter and Randy Moss and Jake Reed, and Washington had Albert Connell and Michael Westbrook and Irvin Fryer. And Andre Reed came there, and then Tampa, we had Keyshawn Johnson and Joe Jurevicius and Keenan McCardell, and then in Dallas, we had Terrell Owens and Jason Witten. So I played with some great players in my time. And, it was pretty awesome to say I got to play with so many great players. And a lot of guys went on to make Hall of Fame, played for some great coaches too. Denny Green and Brian Billick and Norv Turner, Tony Dungy, John Gruden, Wade Phillips, and Jason Garrett. So it's Mike Tice, pretty awesome.
You played in NFL Europe for the London Monarchs. You ever think we'll see European teams in the NFL? Because I know they do the game over in London every year. They did a couple games over in China for preseason in the past. You think we'll ever see teams in Europe, China, all that, or is it just purely going to be an American game?
Yeah, it's when you watch the Super Bowl, it's the most popular game that takes place. The world is watching. Football is an American sport. So other people, they love to watch it. They're trying to play it, but it really happens here. It's not like we play cricket in the United States. Those kind of so, but the World League, it happened in the late 80s, and then it went away. And it came back in the mid-90s, and then it went away. And now you have different leagues pop up. You had the USFL pop up in the early 80s, and now you have in the XFL, those kind of things. And I think those leagues can happen. I don't know how it really works. I know that there's been a bunch of games that have played every year in London. You don't know if they're trying to. I know the NFL is trying to get a host team to be there year round, and it's hard. It's harder than people think. Having families moves over there and organizations move over there, and there's a lot of moving parts with that. But it's a worldwide game. I know they're always going to play preseason games and maybe exhibition games and stuff like that. But to host a team year round, it'll be tough. But I know they're trying to make it happen.
We talked about earlier how you had a great coach. Do you ever see yourself maybe being a coach in the NFL? Yeah, that's a great question. When I retired, I was 40 years old, 41 maybe. And my kids were really young. They were 4 and 6 when I retired. But I really wanted to invest in my family, to be honest with you. I didn't want to get into pro coaching and getting hired and fired. And I didn't have those dreams of calling plays at the pro level. And I didn't really want to coach in college because I didn't really want to recruit and live on the road and do those kind of things. I really want to be with my family. So I've actually coached my kids all the way through high school, middle school, high school, youth football. I've done all those kind of things and kept myself active in the community. We live in Athens, Georgia. My oldest son, he's a quarterback now at LSU. He's been his second year, Max Johnson. And my younger son, Jake, who's going to be a senior now, he's committed to go to LSU in January. But I really just enjoyed coaching high school football. That's what I do now. I'm the volunteer coach. I'm the water boy equipment guy, those kind of things. But I really didn't have aspirations to doing TV on, calling pro games or anything like that. I really just want to be with my family and coach my kids and coach high school ball. What that means, what do you look into as a player? You're coaching your high school. What do you is for a player. And,
What
maybe,
attributes do you look into as a like when you're looking at players? What type of attributes do you like in players?
Yeah. Um, Kids that love to play, kids that have a passion, kids that want to be there, kids that want to get better. They ask questions. They're not on a time clock. Don't count the time, make the time count. Kids that do more than just show up for practice time. They do a lot on their own. You always want to know kids at the next level, what adversity have they been through? What makes them tough? What makes them tick? Um, not every kid's going to be a college football player. Not every kid's going to be a pro football player. The odds are slim. But for me as a coach, coaching youth kids or whoever it may be, my goal is to, if they're a middle school kid, then help them reach their full potential. Maybe it's to be the starter on their middle school team. Maybe it's to be an all-region player in high school, or just to win, to just be an opportunity to be a starter on their team, So whatever level it is, help them be the best version that they can be.
Absolutely. Outside of the Super Bowl, did you have a favorite game of your career?
Wow. You know what? One of my favorite games, was I was playing for the Washington Redskins. I'd been traded from Minnesota to Washington. Washington had been down for quite a while in the 90s, and that year we actually won the division. It was a Sunday night game. I think it was a Sunday night game, Sunday or Monday night game. But it was in San Francisco. We won the division. Threw 471 yards, set a record for most yards by the Redskins, and we won the game in overtime. It was an awesome feeling to play for that organization, to win in that fashion like we did in an overtime game and have a big game. So that's probably a cool moment for me.
is there a player in the league that kind of give you a run for your money?
Was there a player in the league that like always basically gave you a good game every time you played them? Like you knew you were in
Yeah,
when you played them.
that's a great question. Yeah. The toughest team I had to play against, I lost a bunch of games. I won a bunch of games. Was actually the Philadelphia Eagles. I played against them a bunch when I was in Washington, and then in Tampa, they kind of had our number they were our nemesis for a while. Beat us in the regular season, beat us in the playoffs, and then we actually beat Philadelphia in our run to the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship, last game of the Vet. But I just had so much respect for that organization. The games weren't really pretty. It was just going to be a hard fought, ugly kind of game that you just kind of try to, hopefully get off the field not in a body bag. I mean, it was some physical games, but had a lot of respect and loved playing in those games. So that was probably my deal. And then I love playing against certain quarterbacks. Obviously, playing against Brett Favre and Troy Aikman was a great quarterback. Love playing against him. I never beat him, but love playing against him. But I some great players. I thought Deion Sanders was phenomenal. He was the hardest corner for me to play against. He would shut down one side of the field. Obviously, Ray Lewis, Bruce Smith, Reggie White, John Randall played for Minnesota. So some tremendous players got to play against. And then when I was in Washington and Minnesota, I actually played against a bunch of great players in Tampa, Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks and John Lynch and all those guys. And then when I got a chance to be a free agent, that's why I joined forces. And, felt like my game would fit those guys. So it kind of worked out well.
My final question for you is: with the season coming up, who do you think the two Super Bowl teams are going to be?
Wow, it's tough. I mean, it's tough. I mean, the AFC. Man, I'm not trying to. I mean, Cleveland was so close last year. Honestly, Buffalo was so close last year, and I know it runs through Kansas City, but Baltimore's right there, Pittsburgh's right there. It's tough. And then, the NFC, a team that people don't really talk about, it's kind of under the radar that made the playoffs was Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And then the LA Rams. And obviously everyone's going to talk about Tampa, but those are the top 7 or 8 teams. And then the one I didn't mention was Green Bay. So I don't know, man. I'm just sitting on the couch eating popcorn like the rest of you. So, I mean, I would be looking for, maybe a rematch with Tampa and Kansas City. That'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely. You got a question?
I have 2 more questions for you. If you were a coach, in the Super Bowl, what would be a message that you would leave with your guys? A candidate or just something that might hit with them before that big game?
If you were in the Super Bowl and you were a coach, what would be the message you would send to the guys?
Yeah, and that's an awesome question. I think be yourself. Do the things that got you there your whole life. Stick to the fundamentals, the way you play the game. Don't be, don't try to be something that you're not. There's a reason why you got to that last game. There's a reason why you didn't. I think believe in yourself, but believe in the players around you. And you're probably with some great coaches. You're probably with some great players. You're probably in a great system. So believe in all those 3 things around you, and then go out there and have fun. Go out there and have fun. But there's going to be a great finality at the end of that game. Confetti's going to fall on somebody's face, but you can't make it more than what it is. It's got to be just a straight up ball game, and then at the end, let the victor goes the spoils.
I got my final question. Is there anything that you want to promote or anything that you have coming out right now?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, I actually, there's nothing really want to promote. I am on TikTok, so everybody can kind of catch me. I do a lot of trick shots on Big Bad Brad 14. Big Bad Brad 14, do a lot of trick shots, and then we're actually going to sell some merchandise off of it, do some hats and stuff like that, and give it to charity. But do a lot of trick shots on there with football and basketball, and just kind of have fun. So everyone kind of enjoy that a little bit.
Go follow him on TikTok. We want to thank Brad for coming on the show. It was an absolute honor. Thank you, Brad Johnson.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
You too. See you guys.